let your hair get in the way. Can't be defined by your mistakes.
Hey guys,
I'm Cheyenne.
I'm Ia.
And welcome back to the Grow and Go podcast. Today we're talking about protecting your peace and how to do that in all aspects of your life.
And it's very important to learn how to protect your peace because it normally get triggered a lot in life. So you really have to learn how to find different coping mechanisms to help you, not get triggered as easily, or when you do find yourself in those moments, know ways to, help yourself.
Yeah, and a lot of the times people don't really protect their peace in every part of their life. Like, they'll be like, oh, but that's my mom, that's my dad, my sister, cousin, whatever. Family can be toxic too, and you can protect your peace there. If you can't protect it with your family, why are you protecting it with some strangers?
Exactly.
What's our first talking point? You want to talk about first?
We can talk about like when we know that our peace is being disturbed.
Let's see. How do I know my peace is being disturbed? I usually get very irritable, and I can feel myself starting to get irritated very easily. And then I have started to vocally tell people, I feel like you're playing with my spirit, and I don't like that. Because I just get a feeling. There's no way to describe it, but I think it's just because I start focusing more on like what I feel and what people, like the way I react to people's actions more than like what they're doing. So yeah. I just like, it's just an internal thing. I can't really explain it.
Yeah, I think for me, I physically just get unwell when my peace is being disturbed. I think that it's so funny because I learned in like one of my classes, when you're dysregulated, like your body literally sends you signals when you're being dysregulated. So I feel sometimes I get like seriously like sick to my stomach, headaches. I mean, like Cheyenne said, irritable. Sometimes I just feel very tense, like all throughout, like in my jaw, my whole body, and I just don't know how to loosen up. And I remember there's a situation like back in high school, I got into a really bad argument with a friend, and she said I was being dramatic when I told her that I literally felt like physically unwell from our argument. I was like, no, like you disturbed my peace so much, I felt like I was gonna throw up.
You made my stomach
like
hurt.
You made my stomach hurt. Like that's how pissed I was.
You irritated me that much, you made my stomach hurt.
No, deadass. So yeah, I definitely feel the physical symptoms of when my peace is being disrupted.
I feel like the more physical, like sick to your stomach, when like it's something that really, really fucks with my spirit, or like I let it go on for a long time and I'm ignoring the signs, and then it starts making me like sick to my stomach. But I think it's most of the stuff that like disturbs my spirit is when I'm like, I let you know my triggers, and now you're like, you keep triggering me, and it's gonna piss me off. But we're working on it.
We're working on it. That's why we're growing and glowing.
Not getting angry anymore. Keyword healing, not healed. It's very fluid, and I will still let you know real quick, don't fuck with me.
Period.
That's it. That's just that. End of the episode. Don't fuck with us.
I'm dead.
I know. This weekend I had a very testing moment of like, are you gonna stay true to like you being a better person and healing, or are you gonna snap?
When you go low, I go lower.
Because you know me, I always say when they go low, we take them to hell, because you're not about to play with me like that. But since it was family, I was like, okay, now's the time to show. Like, I can protect my peace with my family and not be disrespectful, not fall back into my toxic ways, and help them understand why what you're doing is not healthy. And like, my whole family, we ended up having a family conversations, and a lot of us said some things that we were holding in, and like, even I snapped, not in a bad way, but I was just like, I'm sick of this. Like this, you guys are stressing me out more than you even know, because I'm not telling you. And I was like, and part of that's my fault, because you can't read my mind. I'm 400 miles away from you guys. You can't see what I'm doing every day. You can't see how what you're doing is affecting me. So I'm going to tell you how, and I'm going to tell you why when you speak to me this way, it triggers me because of this happened in my life. And, we all came out better after the conversation.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I think, I have similar like experiences with that. I feel like especially like in ethnic households, you're talking back, that's considered disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like expressing how I'm feeling, that's disrespectful. So I think that's when I started noticing, as I started getting older, I had a really difficult time telling people how I felt because I'm like, oh, they would think I'm being dramatic or disrespectful, and I'm a bitch. When that's not the case, like I have every right to tell you how I'm feeling if you're making me feel a certain way. So yeah, I think till this day, I mean, family members, they say things, and I try not to let it get to me, but I think I'm trying. Keyword trying.
Yeah. I'm starting to be like, can you stop talking about that? Like, you're irritating me now.
No, there's this one situation where I remember I was like bawling my eyes out to my mom because I was just so hot. And then she's like, oh, like, do you want me to talk to them? And I'm like, the fact that like this is still a reoccurring thing, I'm like, it's very frustrating. So I think, as I'm getting older, I'm learning, to realize, I'm an adult, I'm grown, and you're going to treat me as such. I'm not a kid anymore. If I make you feel a certain way sometimes and you can lash out on me, then I have the right to do so as well.
Mine is not like that. Mine is like, I am an adult, so treat me like one. Like, I don't care if you're my mom, my grandma. Like, I'm not going to disrespect you ever because I wasn't raised like that. But, I know you don't want me to grow up, but I am. Like, I've grown up, so you need to treat me as such. The same respect you give to your mother is the same respect I'm giving you, so why are you not treating me as such?
And if you're going to treat me like an asshole, I can be an asshole right back.
Oh, trust me. There's been times me and my mom yell at each other, and then we both are like, wait, we're yelling because we're not telling each other what's going on. We're just screaming, listen to me. So I learned to stop yelling as much.
But I think with me, I only yell when I think you're just really not hearing me. And also, I'm not the one to start yelling first. I think it's kind of just like an instinct. Like you yell at me, I yell at you back. But
I don't think I yell too much, or even that often. I yell more when it's like I keep repeating the same thing and the same thing. Like for the past 5 minutes of this conversation, I've been saying the same exact thing and you're not listening to me. So now I'm gonna yell because once I yell, everyone's like, well, now you're really mad.
And then that's when you're like, oh, she being a bitch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why did you
say
say me the first time when I said it?
Like, no. I know how to control my emotions because guess what? When I'm PMSing, I'm acting like you.
I can't tell you how many times I've just had to walk away when I've been hit with, are you on your period?
Yeah. Or I literally just sit there and look at you. And I'm like, are you stupid? Like, men. It's always the men, too. Are you on your period? No, I'm just acting like you.
You need to chill out. It's not that serious.
It's not that deep, bro.
I was just playing.
I don't really care that much. You care.
You care.
You were very serious too. You weren't like, oh, I'm just chilling.
I'm gonna go off, baby.
Yeah. I think also part of protecting our peace is like making sure mentally you're good and like expressing you need that help. Because if you're anything like me, I don't ask for help.
She doesn't.
I will be drowning and just do it. I'm not gonna ask for help, and it's so bad. Like I'm not proud of it. I've gotten better though. I've gotten a lot better. I got a lot better. Yeah. So I'm proud of myself for that.
Good job.
But I tend to be one who's like, oh, if you care about me so much, you should be able to notice I need help.
That's
like,
me too.
I wear my emotions on my face. You should be able to see that I need help, and most people don't. So I'm just like, either I'm really good at faking it or you don't pay attention.
Yeah. I think, I have that problem too, where I just expect you to know what's wrong with me, and I expect you to just fix it right away, and so I get very triggered when I'm upset. I'm just like, damn, they don't care about me. That's crazy.
Like you don't know.
I'm like,
nothing.
wow. And they're like, yeah, like I had no idea. Like you felt that way. And I'm like, my fault.
It's usually because I'm like, you can't sense my tone in my text. You know I never text with a period, so why aren't you saying? I'm like, I don't ever use punctuation, but you're not saying anything like, oh, are you okay? Yeah. Now we have a problem.
But making sure you're mentally okay to even take that step to protect your peace is super important, because if you're obviously emotionally dysregulated, you're gonna be in no place to take the steps you need to feel better for yourself. I'm just gonna want to drown in my room in the dark, crying all day, or lashing out at everyone and their mama.
Or
I'm not gonna want to.
When you're the blue LED lights, Margaret room's playing. You guys
just on my own phone.
It's sometimes you gotta have those nights because they are very refreshing.
You do.
To just let it all out and cry about everything. Or I don't like crying a lot. I'm just not a crier. And if I do cry, it's in private. So I'm like, that's not very emotionally regulating.
Yeah.
I journal. or I like do voice memos if I'm like writing,
Yeah.
or I'll just go for a drive or something.
I think that, yeah, finding that balance between, taking care of yourself, but also just allowing yourself to feel what you need to feel is also really important.
And I try to pray a lot more when I feel like I'm like, starting to like, like feel, or like when I feel something starting to throw me off, and that scale's tipping. God, come help me fix this.
Yeah, I feel like those like prayers when I'm just bawling my eyes out. I'm just like, God, like, please just like show me like I'm on the right path, and like the next day, like, I'll get a sign,
conversations
and I'm
God,
like, oh, thank
like,
God. Like,
yeah, no, those are always. It's always the ones where you're crying out to Him, and that next day He's like, look.
I did not tell you not to worry.
Just be patient. Be patient, it'll happen.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely praying has helped me protect my peace a lot.
It's helped me keep it protected because even when things are going great, I still pray because I'm like, I want to feel like this all the time, and I know it's not just me doing it by myself.
I just keep telling myself, I'm on this path for a reason. I'm a firm believer everything happens for a reason, and I'm feeling all these things for a reason. I'm just like, God got me regardless. I may not feel like it in this particular moment because sometimes I'm just like, why is this happening to me? Oh my God, I've done so much good for people, and I'm getting all this, bad shit, happen back to me. But I'm learning that it's all happening, and I feel like I'm becoming a stronger individual because of that.
Yeah, my faith has definitely got a lot stronger over the years after like a bunch of shit happened. Because to me, I was just like, oh, I have a great life. Like everything's perfect for me. And then like it was just like hit after hit after hit, COVID.
Yeah.
My dad died. Yeah. Like there was so much stuff happening, and now like me trying to find my new normal. My new normal is protecting my peace at all times. Like I don't care who you are. If you disturb my peace, I'm going to let you know about it, and I will give you the opportunity to fix it. But if I have to tell you more than once, then that's when I start slowly cutting my ties. It's me like. I just treat it like my password to like my stuff. Like you don't have the password to my soul anymore if you're gonna be irresponsible with the access I give you, because clearly you're showing like that's like me walking to a stranger and be like, here's the keys to my house. Right. Like I just trust you because you haven't been mean to me yet. When it's like, no, I need to stop just letting everybody in or keeping everybody in. Weed out the crowd and get that small circle to a period.
And I think I read something similar about that in that one book, the Good Boundaries and Good Vibes. Yeah, definitely learning how to not let people have all that access to you, because I feel like you and I are like we have very big hearts, and we're just very open, to all people, to all things, but I think where we're similar is that we do have hard time, setting those boundaries sometimes, especially when it's up to someone we really love and we're like, we just want them to do better. I know you care. I know you love me. Like let me just stick around, and like I know you're gonna do better, and then it hurts when it's not we're not getting the outcome that we want.
I've been like down bad because I'm like, why? I know you're such a good person, and I know you probably genuinely care about me, but you're being so irresponsible with the things you do to me, and it's like. We could never figure out why. We sat there trying to fix them and fix them and fix them. And it was like, no, you don't need to fix them. Just let them go.
Literally let them go.
Everything doesn't need to be fixed. Like, there's always that saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Sometimes if it's too broke, throw it away. Like, you can't fix everything. Some things you just gotta replace. On to the next. No, but for real though.
Meeny, miny, you.
No, but for real, sometimes you really just gotta, like, it's not worth the strain on my physical or my mental to, like, try to fix you.
Yeah.
I had to learn that the hard way. Like, you really just gotta let them go sometimes.
I'm proud of you for, honestly, I think that's why I've always just been like, everyone learned at their own pace. That's why I'm not one to force friends to do stuff if their soul is like not ready yet. Like no matter what I feel, I'm like, I'm ready for them to move on. They're not ready to move on. So whatever helps them in the process of getting to that peaceful state, I'm just like, what, I'm here for you. I love you, and if you need me, you got my number. You know my address. like
you got my location.
Right.
Like, you can find me. Yeah, no. I know I stopped being like that with my friends once it started happening to me, and I was realizing like A lot of the times, us, at least women, we go gossip to our friends all the time. Like, hey girl, what's the tea? Like, you want to know everything. But when we're like gossiping about our love lives, we only tell the bad things. We don't tell our friends the good shit that happened. So all they hear is like, why are you still with him? Like, he's only doing this to you. And really, it's like, no, things are really good. And this is like a small, minuscule part of the relationship. But the small things that like bother you, there's a lot of them. And they start to add up.
Yeah.
And eventually, like, the little things are when, like, that'll get us to leave. Because it's like, now we're seeing, okay, this is a pattern. This isn't like it was once or twice. I told my friends about this 6 different times. Like, it's a pattern. It's time for me to let it go.
I think us women will forgive you 100 times. And
But
just take
that
that
101st.
Yeah, that 101st time, we are done.
Yeah, like when a woman is done, they're done.
They're done.
And guys always wonder, why do girls move on so fast? Because we broke up with you like 6 months before.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we always emotionally and mentally break up with you before we physically do it. Because if I am ever mentally checked out from you, then of course it's going to be easy for me to move on.
But like, even me, I knew I was mentally checked out, and I still was like, nah, I'll give it a go. Just cause like, why not? Like, I was always just like, what's the harm of doing it? Like, when really it's harming my mental and like my soul. I was losing myself by saying like, oh, what's the worst that could happen? Worst that can happen is you lose a piece of yourself. You don't know who you are at the end of it.
Yeah, definitely. You never want to sacrifice yourself.
Yeah.
For yourself and your peace for another person.
I don't know. There's a lot of toxicity going on there, and I'm glad I left it.
But she's taken all the necessary steps to get herself to a better place.
Yes, because I prioritize protecting my peace.
Yeah.
I just have to.
You have to, because no one's going to help you do it. Like, if you want to be in that peaceful state of mind, like, you have to seek it out for yourself.
Yeah, I felt like I was losing my mind trying to make sure everyone else was peaceful and happy. And I was like, well, who's going to help me be peaceful and happy?
Exactly.
And it's me. I tell myself to do that. If not, then you're SOL. And if you don't have a lot of friends, that can be very dangerous. Like, really fast. I know a lot of people who like had 1 or 2 friends, but when that friend was going through something and couldn't check on them, they spiraled like real bad. And I hope they're doing well now.
Yeah, I think that's why it's definitely important, like I said, to find that for yourself and like learn how to be independent and be comfortable with being alone sometimes, so you can put yourself in that uncomfortable situation and be like, damn, like I'm really not okay right now. I feel like I'm spiraling. I feel like I'm falling apart. And I think, for me, like, I don't like feeling that way. I don't like spiraling and sitting in those really dark moments, but it's also really helpful and beneficial because it helps me realize, like, what I need to do to get myself to a better peaceful state of mind.
I learned how to, like, when I'm spiraling, I can ignore it really well. So I don't even realize I'm spiraling until it gets real bad. And I'm, like, all the way at the bottom. And I haven't hit rock bottom yet, but I'm getting low for, like, at least what I want. And that's when I'm like, okay, I need to ask somebody for help, or I need to reach out to my therapist or something. Men therapists are the best. If you've never had a man therapist, they will tell you about yourself real fast.
I can imagine. Because I feel like as women, like, we like to, not sugarcoat things, but we're more careful and fragile with one another, I feel like, compared to men. Because, it's like when you ask your guy best friend for advice, they'll tell you straight up, that boy don't want you.
I think it's more like with with the men therapists when you're older, they would tell you, no, you're doing this just because you don't want to be alone. Like, you ever thought about that? And it's like, damn, I'm about to close the Zoom because what?
How dare you tell me about myself because you're not over this shit?
How dare you, but I will be back in 2 weeks. I feel like men are what triggers me the most, but that's because I have daddy issues.
Yeah. I think I'm still trying to get to like the nitty gritty of why I get triggered by specific things so much. I think there's certain things I'm okay, like, like this happened in my childhood, like I get it, but there's certain things I'm just like, damn, why am I acting this way? I'm crazy. Like, why am I acting this way? I think I'm a silent treatment type person. Like, when you piss me off, like, I'm like, okay, all right, you just not gonna hear from me. And it's really toxic. That's why we're healing, not healed. But
it's very fluid.
It's very fluid. But I think, when people are trying to figure out, like, oh, like, what's wrong, what did I do? I'm just like, dead silence.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, I've also been really good at identifying other people's triggers when they tell me stuff like that. Because I know your dad traveled a lot, and anytime your dad pisses you off, you don't have to talk to him. You can ignore him.
damn, I never.
He's across the country, or he's in another country.
I never
you don't
thought
have to
about
talk
it
to
like
him.
that.
And whenever you're mad at your mom, what do? I'm just not gonna talk to her. You hang up on the phone. I'm not gonna talk to her because you don't have to. If they're just in your phone, you don't have to.
You're analyzing me. Hold on. Wait.
But that's what happens when one of your parents is a narcissist.
No.
Like, I generally think my dad might be a narcissist.
Yeah.
And I love him to death, but I just know I have to love you from a distance
Yeah.
because I had to identify, hey, he's acting this way, so I might be triggering him. Let me just ignore him. And it wasn't anything I was doing. It's because whatever happened in his childhood, he won't talk about it, but whatever happened, the things I did as a child, and because I was so happy as a child with both of my parents, it triggered him.
Yeah.
Like, he was happy when I was younger being a good dad. Like, he was there for me. Like, he made sure I had memories with him, but it also triggered him because he didn't have that from his dad.
Mm-hmm.
So him being a good father pissed him off.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, contradicts itself because you could just stop being a dad, which I guess he decided to do. He put himself first, but like, well, I think I put up myself first. I don't know. But me and him no longer talk,
Yeah.
and I think just him being a father and me living the life I live triggered him.
I think with my mom, I think I trigger her in the sense that I remind her of her. We're both very strong-headed, and because she's done the same thing, I pissed her off, she hangs up the phone.
Yeah.
So, like,
Because it's like, but I'm pretty sure whenever your dad pissed her off, she hangs up the phone.
Yeah.
Because you're in another country. I don't have to talk to you.
yeah.
But I do that to my mom. I'm not gonna talk to you. I'm just not gonna text you.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
I know you're busy. I'm just not
Yeah.
gonna talk to you. Like,
And that's why I would do the same thing with him too. He'd
Yeah.
him, I'm like,
That's
then can't call me
why.
back. I just keep declining the call. Like,
when I tell you those daddy issues always surface, they come for everything.
this is I'm my future man. I promise I'm doing better.
It's
I'm
okay.
healing.
Just call me if she starts not talking to you because she never not talks to me.
I talk to her every day.
I don't think me for 1,000 and what is our streak right now? I was just telling my friends about it because I was like, we didn't even start our streak when we became friends.
We didn't.
It
It
started-
happened over COVID.
Exactly. It did when COVID
Yeah.
started. But that was 1,178 days ago. We've been friends longer than that, and we still talk every single day
Yeah.
from the moment we met. So even if she's like, I don't want to talk to you, just call me. I'll talk to her. Because 9 times out of 10, she's calling me talking about, guess what he just did to me? You will never, I can't believe he said this to me. He's just going to pretend like nothing's wrong. Like he didn't do anything wrong.
You're so loud.
But that's like the fun part of having a best friend that knows you.
Yeah.
Because it's like, girl, you know you about to go home and kiss him and be like, I'm so sorry, babe. I was just having a hard day. You know these kids irritate me. Like,
I love you, stink.
like that's, you know my poo.
You my poop and give me kisses.
Like,
I'm dead.
you know, hi, my little baby bear. Like you know you would go back to him and be like, I'm so sorry. So just call me. I'll fix this for you. But if you call me too much, I'm gonna be like, you know, she's just waiting on you to fix the problem, right? Like, stop coming to me. Go to her. Chase her around all day around the house. She'll talk to you. And it's gonna be something like, oh, are you hungry for dinner?
And I think my problem is too, like, I'm like, when you chase me, I'm just like, no. Then once you stop, I'm like, wait, I'm sorry. So that's something I really need to work on. Like, if someone's trying to come to me to fix a problem, I need to just like, okay, like, I need to communicate. Okay, maybe I just need like an hour to cool down and we can talk about it. But no, like, I can be so toxic sometimes. I'm just like, no, stop chasing me. No, I don't want to talk about it. And you're like, okay, fine. I'm like, no,
you don't care.
Oh, but you don't love me.
You don't really care. You just left. Like, I've been asking you for an hour, what's wrong with you? Now I don't care. Like,
yeah.
that's how I am. But I make sure every time I'm like in a situation with someone where I know like if me and them argue, it's not gonna be like a we just ignore it and move on kind of thing, or I can just stop talking to that person because they're not that important. Everyone in my life, if I argue with them, I'm gonna want to fix it because you're important to me. No, we're not gonna let this ruin it. But I also tell them if something happens, give me some time to like chill because I will react with my emotions and I'm slick with my tongue. It cuts you like a knife, and I was taught, well not taught, but I've always seen everyone whenever they like get pissed off, they go for the jugular. Like that's just how my family is. They go for the jugular because you're not gonna disrespect me. And I do that if you come at me immediately and be like, well, what's wrong with you? I didn't even do anything.
Yeah.
I will say something I regret. It's not because I mean it. It's because I know it's going to hurt you. So, everyone in my life, just give me some time before you try to have a conversation about the problem.
Yeah.
Because I will come for your life and then regret it so bad later.
And I think like another thing too, like how that can relate to like protecting your peace is like just picking and choosing your battles.
Yeah.
Like, not everything is worth like an argument, or like sometimes I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna let it go.
Yeah.
Like it's not worth. It's a lot more exhausting to be angry and bitter and go for the jugular than just be like, you know what, I'm not excusing shit that you did, but for my sake, my sanity, like I just need to let this go.
Or sometimes it's even like deciding when to walk away because you know that person's just gonna keep going and they're gonna keep antagonizing because they think it's funny. They're like, oh, I'm getting them mad. I think it's funny. I'm gonna hang up on them because I know it pisses them off. Or I'm gonna say this one sentence to them because I know it irritates them. And you gotta know, okay, I know they're gonna hang up because they're trying to irritate me. I'm just not gonna answer the phone again. Yeah. Because we keep putting ourselves in those positions where they hang up and call you back, and guess what? You still answer.
Yeah.
Like you're mad they're doing it, but you still hit that green call button. Like, or if they don't call back within 5 minutes, you're calling them to see what's going on. Like, are you really that mad? Yeah. They know it pisses you off. Sometimes you just gotta walk away. You don't want to be on the phone? Okay. You hung up. I'm gonna let you hang up. I'm not gonna call you back. I'm gonna go about my day because I'm protecting my sanity at this point and my peace. And you're not about to disturb it because you think it's funny. Like that's what.
That triggers the hell out of me when people think it's funny to piss me off, because I think with me personally, everyone knows me as like, oh, Ia's so nice, oh, Ia's super sweet, and she doesn't get mad. And then when you do that one thing to trigger the fuck out of me, and then I like, pop off, like, whoa, calm down, Jamal. like. Oh my god!
It really is just like, whoa, it wasn't even that deep.
It wasn't
just joking.
Yeah, like, whoa, chill. Yeah. Like, you're doing too much. It's like, no, like, you knew this was gonna piss me off, and you just saw me getting more and more agitated by the moment. You wanted to keep testing it, and now that I showed you that, okay, I'm not the one, now it's a problem.
Yeah. I think for me, people see me as like everyone knows I'm funny, like, and it's not even me being like, oh, I'm the funny one. I just naturally make people laugh. Yeah. And people see me as a jokester, so like, I take digs at people, they take digs back. But if you see me saying like, okay, stop, and you keep going, you keep going because you think it's funny, or you're doing something that I would normally laugh at after I told you I had a bad day, and you know it's gonna irritate me, why do you keep doing it? It's because I'm the funny one. But then when I snap, it's, whoa, calm down, it's not even that deep. Like, I didn't mean it like that. Or, I was having a bad day too, so I just thought we could have a little humor. No, be an adult, say you're having a bad day, I'm having a bad day, maybe we don't need to communicate. Or, I just feel like irritating you, so I'm gonna do it. And I can be like, alright, I'm not gonna talk to you today.
So like you said, like I had a similar situation with someone, and they had said something to piss me off. So then I was like, whatever, like if you're gonna keep disrespecting me, I'm done having this conversation. Then we talked about it the next day, and they were like, well, like no one else would be mad if I said something like that. I was like, I'm not everyone else though. Yeah. I'm me. So if I'm telling you this is bothering me and this is disturbing my peace, stop it. Literally. Like I shouldn't have to tell you 5 times, 100 times, 1,000 times. If I tell you once, knock that shit off.
Yeah. Or you know what I used to say all the time, but I've stopped now, or is, you wouldn't like it if I did it to you.
Exactly.
But I've realized they don't care, so they wouldn't mind if I did it to them. Or they know I would never do something like that, so they can't even imagine themselves in my position. But I also have to remind them, I'm not like you, and I'm not like everybody else. So my triggers aren't going to be yours. And I can't say you wouldn't like if I did this, because you probably would be okay with it. It wouldn't trigger you, because you didn't have the same experience as I did. And I'm just letting you know, it triggers me. And I would never do something like you. I'm not gonna like say you wouldn't like it. Just know I wouldn't give you the same disrespect. And that's the part that gets them, because they're like, damn, it's not even me being irritating. Like, I'm disrespecting them, and they have the utmost respect for me. So why am I treating them like this? But by the time they realize that, you're already gone.
It's too late.
Like, we're healing. Yeah, by the time they figure it out, you're already watching this podcast, so they're never coming back. You just gotta move on and protect yourself.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I'm learning that I'm the most important person in my own life. Yeah. Like, I'm obviously I love all y'all, all my friends, my family, and everyone, but I'm the most important person in my life. I need to do what's right for me, not for everyone else.
Yeah, I've come to realize that it really is just me, and if I don't have myself, I don't have anybody, because I could be surrounded in a room full of people that adore me, and if I don't love myself, then I feel like I'm alone, and I feel like nobody cares about me. You know, my therapist also called me out for that, which is why I was like, I don't need a male therapist just yet, because I told him, oh, nobody cares about me. He was like, nobody cares about you, or the person you want to care about you isn't showing you attention. And I was like, what?
Go ahead and clock out for me.
Miguel, we still got 45 minutes left. You didn't have to come for me like that. He was like, nobody cares, or the person you want to care isn't. And I was like, it's just him. I want him to show me the attention. And then he was like, you have a best friend, right? And I was like, yes, I have multiple. And he was like, they all adore you, and they give you everything you want in a like everything you're looking for in this one person, they all give to you in a different way. And I was like, yeah, like me and you, we communicate so well. Me and my other friends make amazing memories, and they like put me first to like, hey, I want to do this big thing for you. I want to do that big thing for you. Some of my other friends are literally just party friends. Like, all of my friends are what I want this one person to be, and that's not feasible. So I felt attacked because I was like, I really just want him to be all of these people at once. When really, like, I can't keep saying nobody cares, nobody loves me, because he doesn't care. He doesn't.
Right.
But
yeah, definitely. We need to learn how to stop projecting our insecurities onto other people.
But when I heard that, I was like, wow, we got 45 minutes left, and I don't even want to talk to you anymore. Like, I'm about to hang this up and tell you I'm sick. All of a sudden, I just don't feel good anymore. Like, I'm not doing that. That was a good one. That stuck to me. And I haven't had that therapist in like a year. But that stuck to me. Because I was like, nobody cares, or just that person doesn't care?
I think it's super important to learn how to, whatever you want out of a friendship, out of a relationship, like, give that shit to yourself. Like, you know, if I want, like, one day I wanted, like, flowers. Oh, I wish my man could give me flowers.
Like, you have to be the partner you want.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, I could literally go down to Safeway right now and get myself a bouquet of flowers. Like, and that's something I've really been implementing in my life more. Like, whatever I want, whatever I expect my future man to get to me, I'm gonna give that to myself first.
Literally.
Because literally, I can't expect my future man to give me everything I want if I can't even give that to myself. Like, that's.
I tend to, I do that. Like, if I'm like, oh, I really want to go on a date, bitch, go on a date. Take yourself on a date. Like, I'll do that. Or if I'm like, I really just don't want to do it alone, it's something I don't want to do alone, or I can't do it alone, I'll call one of my friends. Hey, you want to go out somewhere? Like, let me take somebody else on a friend date. Like, I don't have to always be the one being taken on a date, and I can still have these same experiences.
Or being like, oh, I just want someone to be vulnerable with. I need to be vulnerable with myself, or be vulnerable with my friends.
Like, go write in your journal, be real about it. Like, really tell it how it is. I'm the one in the wrong, or I'm the one causing the toxicity in my life. Or go tell your friends, hey, I need some help. I've been struggling with this one situation. Or, hey, I've been feeling like this lately, and I haven't told you because X, Y, Z. And 9 times out of 10, actually 10 times out of 10, it's always going to help. That friend's always going to be there for you, and that journal is always going to be there for you. But you also have to always be there for those people.
Yeah, when I was journaling, it was so interesting looking at like my past journal entries when I was writing about that one situation. Like, looking at it from when it first happened, it was just so much anger and bitterness. And then when I rewrote about the situation, like, reflecting on everything, you know, from a more healed point of view, I was just like, damn, these are two completely different people. Like, I've really, like, come a long way in the last couple months. Like, honestly.
I don't like reread my journal entries. Once I write it down, it's done.
Interesting.
But that's because I'm the person that will hold everything in. And my journal is my way to express myself. And if I don't want to revisit that, I'm not going to. Why am I going to bring up those feelings again? In fact, I already let it go. I'm not going to, I've forgiven that person. No, I'm not going to forget about it. I still remember everything you did. And I'm not just going to be, like, I don't want to be around you anymore, so I'm not going to reread that. Like,
yeah, I think for me, it's just, I reread it just to see, like, the progress that I made.
Yeah.
Like, not to necessarily, like, open up old wounds or anything, but I'm just like, damn, like, I'm really doing a good job at, like, putting myself first and becoming a more, like, peaceful individual. Because I feel like when I journal a lot, it does come from a place of anger and bitterness and everything. So then when I reread it and I, you know, compare it to, like, another journal entry, I'm just like, wow, like, I'm looking at it from such a different perspective now, and, like, I'm proud of myself for that.
I mean, if I reread anything, it's only the good ones.
Yeah.
Like, so I'll, like, dog fold the good ones, because I'm like, I know I'm healing based off of how I express my happiness. Before, I didn't know, like, I thought I was happy, but I wasn't. So it'd be like, oh, so-and-so did this for me, that's what made me happy. Or I got this from somebody else. Like if I read those, like my happiness was coming from other people, and I wasn't really happy. Now it's like, oh my God, I woke up and I thought I looked so good in the mirror today, or my affirmations made me feel like the baddest bitch on this earth, or like something that I did to myself, or I just woke up feeling happy. Like now I know what it feels to just be happy without somebody else giving it to you.
Yeah.
Because when somebody else is giving you your happiness, they know they can take it away, and when they do, it damages you. You like crumble because you don't know what to do anymore. So that's how I figure. Like I gauge my like growing, not just from like I don't ignore the bad situations. Like I talk about them, but I'm not gonna reread those like raw emotions because I know that will do something to me, and it'll bring it back up. Especially with that certain situation, if I read any of those journal entries, I'm gonna want him back because some of them are really good.
Yeah, it's super important to know yourself and like what you can and cannot handle for sure. Like if obviously rereading those stuff, you're just like, damn, I'm gonna call him. Definitely don't do that. Yeah.
That's one thing. I will tell people about themselves real fast. Yeah. But it's because I want them to do the same for me. Tell me about myself, especially after this last relationship where everyone's like, oh yeah, I saw it wasn't good for you. Why did no one tell me? If you see I'm blinded by love, why aren't you telling me how bad it really is? You're just telling me, oh, I think you should leave. You shouldn't go back. Okay, to me, I'm not understanding why. And you can see if I'm not understanding why, let me know. But I also wasn't telling people about themselves either. I was turning around talking about they should not be together. Like that person and that person should break up. And nobody was doing the same for me because I wasn't being the partner I needed for myself or the person I needed. Yeah, that was but I started doing that now. You do that, I'm going back to them. They don't do it anymore. Because they're like, no, you're doing so good. I want you to be happy. Okay, make yourself happy. And then I'll be even happier to see my family happy and my friends happy. So y'all go back to y'all exes, I'm going back to mine.
Please don't do it. Don't do it.
We're growing over here, okay?
Okay, guys, so we do have to wrap up this conversation. It was very engaging. We hope that you learned different ways to protect your peace and could relate to us on some of the stuff that we talked about.
Definitely leave in the comments ways to protect your peace because I'm always looking for new ways to protect mine. And you guys have some great ideas. Next week, we're going to talk about staying connected in your 20s. So once a month, we're going to do supporter entries where you guys get to pick what we talk about on the episode. Could be anything from like topics you just never hear about or something specific that you need advice on. We'll probably do an advice column or something like that. Some
Q&A type stuff.
Something of the sorts where we can engage with you guys.
We want to be more interactive with you guys for sure.
Yeah, so
create that community. So.
Next week will be the first segment of that, and we are going to do staying connected in your 20s that one of our followers suggested on Instagram. We want to talk about a little brief of what they can expect.
Let's see, we'll definitely be talking about, finding that balance between, living life up, partying, all that stuff, but also, staying grounded, in school, in your work, and in your healing. I mean, your 20s it's a tough time because I feel like everyone feels like they need to have it all together, but I don't even know what I'm eating for dinner tonight. So
I can't even tell you if I ate food at all today.
So definitely we're gonna have a really nice conversation of just how to just keep everything intertwined together in a healthy way.
Yeah, because some people want to have that hot girl summer, just like I want a summer fling, nothing too serious, but also like I want to make sure that these goals are being met and these goals are being met. Like
that I'm making my money.
I think this summer we have so many plans, but it's still like, okay, I requested days off work, but I need to make sure I'm like saving up this much, or I'm saving this money, or making sure I'm still healing, so that way when that time comes, I can have a good time and not worry about some random guy pissing me off. Like, we're gonna have a fun conversation about that. Bye, guys.
Bye.